Hello, my name is Mike DeGagne, and I'm the President and CEO of Inspire. People often ask me why Inspire's mission is so critical. Why is it so important for us to keep doing what we're doing and expanding our reach even further? Why should folks support us rather than directing their assistance elsewhere? Inspire is unique in that we're the only Indigenous registered charity with a national scope that invests in the education of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. Our mission is twofold. First, to ensure that every Indigenous student will be able to overcome barriers and successfully pursue their education, ultimately entering the career of their dreams. And two, to recognize and celebrate Indigenous achievement in a wide variety of endeavors and fields. We're not only working to increase access to education for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis students across the country, we're also endeavoring to enable them to take the necessary paths to their chosen vocations, finding the places that they want to occupy in Canada's society. Hudson's Bay Foundation's financial support of Inspire stems from its larger mission. We're both pleased and proud to be one of the organizations participating in this important commitment, with Inspire receiving $1.1 million over 3 years. The HBF will enable us to support Indigenous learners in the ways that they themselves have told us they need. Along with the financial support, this represents a very strong statement about the willingness to listen and learn from Indigenous students, a positive trend which shows us a good collective way forward. It takes a community to support the success of Indigenous learners, and the more community members we have, the better the outcomes for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis students will be. This new partnership with HBF represents a tangible commitment to both Inspire's work and to Indigenous education, and it also represents a very positive trend, one which I hope to see amplified on a wider scale across a variety of spheres. It represents a significant investment in the social and economic improvement and sustainability of Canada's Indigenous peoples, and it will accelerate the components of our work that are advancing systemic change to improve Indigenous education and employment outcomes by removing barriers and improving opportunities for Indigenous people. Like everyone at Inspire, I'm eager to see the outcomes of this partnership for Indigenous students, their families, their communities, as we work together with HBF to build educational capacity, strengthen the identity of Indigenous youth, and increase Indigenous economic sustainability and prosperity. By continuing to work in this way with partners like HBF, we reinforce and expand our mutual networks of support, which will benefit not only Indigenous learners, but also their communities. I'm encouraged to be embarking on this important journey with Hudson's Bay Foundation and know that it will make a significant difference to Indigenous learners across the country. On behalf of all of us here at Inspire, I would like to thank Hudson's Bay Foundation for their generosity and their commitment to Indigenous education. Thank you.
I graduated from ECU Secondary School in 2017, and then I started at York, and I was only 17 when I went to York, and I was there for about 2 years until I decided that the program I was in wasn't a good fit for me. So I took a year off and I decided to work at a community organization working with children and youth in regards to like mentorship, extra like educational assistance. And while I was there, I decided that social service work was the field I wanted to go in because of what the organization did for the community that I was working in. Now I'm at George Brown, I'm in my second year. Well, while I was working in the organization, I always found myself in like a helping role, and I know the core of, social work is always, being in a helping position. I always found myself in that role, even like through high school. When I was a child, I always wanted to help people, and it's always been a passion of mine. Financial assistance means like the world, just like, as you know, city of Toronto is a very expensive place to live in, so having, tuition, part of my tuition covered has really helped, relieve the financial burden. In terms of community, COVID has been a challenge, so there hasn't been many opportunities to give back, but before COVID, I'd always participate in powwows, cultural ceremonies, attend cultural training workshops. I think also in this day and age, social activism is important. So spreading awareness about issues that are happening in the Indigenous and Black community are very important to me. would like to work within the Indigenous community as, as a way of giving back too, because, by seeking, supports in the Indigenous community, I've been able to be helped with, educational and just like social, and as a child and even up to today, I still participate in the Indigenous community. So I like to work within that and help support and mentor children and youth in education.